Hi there, my friend. You're still awake? Don't worry, you're not the only one. This time we are going to talk about the universe, not the exciting version. No alien signals, no epic black holes, no time travel. Just facts. Real ones. In fact, 100 of them, or maybe even more, about space, vast, quiet, and mostly empty. But before we start, drop a comment below. Let us know what time it is, where you are, and where you're listening from, because even in a universe this big, it's good to know someone is still out there. And if this helps you drift off, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It means a lot and helps way more than you think, especially at this hour. Alright, let's dim the lights, get cozy, and begin with facts about the universe. Number 1. The universe is estimated to be around 13.8 billion years old. That number comes from measuring how fast galaxies are moving away from us and working backward. It all began with the Big Bang. Not a loud explosion, but a sudden expansion of space itself. There was no light at first, no stars, no planets, just energy stretching into the dark. Everything you've ever known came from that one quiet beginning. 2. Light moves at nearly 300,000 kilometers per second. It's the speed limit of the universe. Even at that speed, it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for light to travel from the sun to Earth. From the nearest star beyond the sun, more than 4 years. From the edge of the observable universe, about 13 billion years. So when you look at the night sky, you're not seeing stars, you're seeing memories. 3. The observable universe is about 93 billion light years across. That number sounds impossible. How can the universe be bigger than its age? It's because space itself is expanding, stretching faster than the light can cross it. So the light we see from distant galaxies started traveling when the universe was smaller. But the space between us grew in the meantime. What we see is only what light has had time to deliver. Everything else is out there, but unreachable. 4. Scientists say only 5% of the universe is made of ordinary matter, the kind that forms stars, planets, and people. About 27% is dark matter, an invisible substance that holds galaxies together, even though we've never seen it, and the remaining 68%, dark energy. We don't know what it is, but it's pushing the universe apart faster and faster. So the vast majority of everything is made of something we can't touch, detect, or define, and it's in charge. 5. The universe has no center, no edge. It's not expanding into something. Space itself is stretching. Imagine every point in the universe moving away from every other point, like dots on the surface of an inflating balloon. There's no middle, no edge to fall off, just more space. Wherever you are in the universe, everything else looks like it's moving away, because it is. 6. The Andromeda Galaxy is the closest spiral galaxy to us, about 2.5 million light-years away. It's also heading straight for us at about 110 kilometers per second. In around 4 billion years it will collide with the Milky Way. But don't imagine galaxies crashing like cars. There's so much empty space between stars that most will simply pass by each other. What we'll end up with is a new, larger galaxy, possibly called Milkomeda, which sounds like a fake planet in a cereal commercial. 7. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth, and more planets than that. Some stars have dozens of planets, some planets orbit multiple stars, and some systems are so strange we're not even sure how they exist. So if you've ever felt like Earth is special, well, statistically it isn't, but emotionally, sure. 8. A black hole is not a hole. It's what's left when a massive star collapses, so dense not even light can escape. If you passed the event horizon, you wouldn't feel anything right away. You'd just fall forever. or at least until physics runs out of ideas. We've observed black holes twisting light, warping time, and throwing stars around like tennis balls. They don't glow, they don't speak, they just wait. 9. The Sun accounts for 99.8% of the total mass in our solar system. All the planets, moons, asteroids and comets combined make up the last 0.2%. It's not a democracy, it's a furnace. It burns hydrogen into helium in its core, releasing energy that's been travelling for thousands of years before it even reaches the surface, and then another 8 minutes to reach us. So every sunrise is really very old news. 10. Saturn's rings look solid from a distance, but they're actually made of countless bits of ice and rock. Some no bigger than snowballs, others the size of buildings. They're thin, only a few 100 meters thick, but spread out over 280,000 kilometers wide. No one's sure exactly how they formed. A shattered moon, a failed one. Whatever happened, Saturn's still showing it off, even if no one's around to clap. 11. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. It's over 11 times wider than Earth and more than 300 times as massive, but it's made mostly of gas. So if you try to land on it, you just fall through layers of hydrogen, deeper and deeper, until the pressure crushed you, or physics gave up trying to explain what happens next. It doesn't have a surface, just vibes. 12. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth, about 3.8 centimeters every year. It used to be closer, the tides were stronger, nights were brighter. One day, billions of years from now, it'll be so far away that total solar eclipses will no longer happen. Enjoy the cosmic alignment while you can. The universe rarely reschedules. 13. Neutron stars are the collapsed cores of massive stars. They're about 20 kilometers wide, but can weigh more than the entire sun. That's like stuffing Mount Everest into a thimble and asking it to rotate 700 times per second. Their gravity is so intense, a spoonful of neutron star would weigh about 1 billion tons, which is exactly why we don't bring one to dinner. 14. Mars has the tallest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons. It's about 22 kilometers high, nearly 3 times taller than Mount Everest. But it's so wide and gently sloped you could walk up it without noticing, very slowly, for 2 weeks, uphill on another planet. 15. Venus spins backward, not metaphorically, literally. Its rotation is opposite its orbit, and it takes longer to rotate once than it does to orbit the Sun, which means a day on Venus is longer than a year, and somehow it still feels familiar. 16. Most of space is empty, but not clean. It's full of cosmic dust, tiny particles drifting between stars. This dust helped form planets, moons, even people, so when you wipe down a windowsill, you're technically sweeping away the building blocks of the universe. 17. There's a region in space called the Bootes Void. It's about 330 million light-years across and contains almost no galaxies. Just silence, a vast invisible gap that stretches farther than we can comprehend. It's one of the biggest known things, by being almost nothing. 18. Mercury has almost no atmosphere, so during the day it's over 400 degrees Celsius. At night it drops to 180 degrees Celsius. That's a 600-degree swing every single cycle. So if you've ever complained about the weather, Mercury wins. 19. The cosmic microwave background is the oldest light in the universe. It's not visible to the eye, just a faint, cold glow left over from the Big Bang. discovered accidentally by two guys who thought pigeons were ruining their equipment. Turns out it wasn't the birds. It was the beginning of everything. 20. Saturn has 146 confirmed moons. That's more than any other planet in our solar system. Some are big, some are small, and one of them, Titan, has lakes and rivers made of liquid methane. It rains gasoline, and yet somehow Earth is still considered the weird one. 21. Earth is surrounded by something called the Van Allen radiation belts. They're rings of charged particles trapped by the planet's magnetic field. They help protect us from solar winds, but they're also full of radiation, enough that early satellites had to be specially shielded to avoid frying their circuits. It's like invisible armor with the side effects of constant static. 22. Every galaxy we can see is moving away from us. That's because space is expanding. Not like a balloon with edges, but more like a raisin loaf rising in the oven. From any raisin's point of view, every other raisin is moving away. So yes, Earth isn't special. It's just another raisin in the dark. 23. On Mars, sunsets appear blue. Its thin atmosphere scatters sunlight differently than ours. So the sky during the day is dusty and orange, but when the sun dips low, it glows a soft, deep blue. A quiet reminder that even alien skies get a little dramatic when the day is done. 24. There's a galaxy called M87. It's about 55 million light-years away and has a black hole at its center that's 6.5 billion times more massive than the Sun. We took a picture of it in 2019. The image is blurry because taking a photo of a black hole is like photographing silence. 25. Time moves slower near strong gravity. It's called gravitational time dilation. So if you spent a day orbiting a black hole and then came back to Earth, more time would have passed here than for you. Einstein called it relativity. You can call it yet another reason mornings feel longer than they should. 26. Neptune has the strongest winds in the solar system. They reach speeds over 2,000 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. No one knows how they get that strong, but considering Neptune is 4.5 billion kilometers away, it's not really in a hurry to explain itself. 27. The largest structure in the known universe is called the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. It's a cluster of galaxies spanning 10 billion light-years. We don't know how it formed, we don't even know if it should exist, but there it is. Quiet, far away, and completely ignoring us. 28. Jupiter's moon. Europa is covered in ice. Beneath that frozen surface there may be an ocean of liquid water, more than all of Earth's oceans combined. It's one of the most promising places to look for life. But for now, it's just a frozen sphere floating through silence, waiting. 29. The Sun makes one full rotation every 25 to 35 days, depending on where you measure. It spins faster at the equator than at the poles, which means even the thing holding our solar system together has a few awkward habits it hasn't worked out yet. 30. If the Earth were the size of a marble, the Sun would be the size of a basketball about 25 meters away, and the nearest star after that, another marble, over 6,000 kilometers down the road. That's the kind of distance space calls just next door. 31. Pluto is no longer considered a planet. It was reclassified in 2006 as a dwarf planet because it doesn't clear its orbit of debris. It's small, cold, and 5.9 billion kilometers from the Sun. Still, it has 5 moons, a heart-shaped glacier, and a devoted fan base that refuses to move on. 32. Cosmic rays are high-energy particles that travel through space at nearly the speed of light. They come from exploding stars, black holes, and other distant violent places. Most are blocked by our atmosphere. Some pass through your body every second. So, yes, space is technically punching you, just very politely. 33. The moon doesn't glow. It reflects sunlight. It's also tidally locked, which means the same side always faces Earth. There is no dark side, just a far side, quietly minding its own business since forever. 34. A day on Uranus lasts about 17 hours, but its tilt is the strangest in the solar system. It's rotated nearly 98 degrees, so it essentially rolls around the sun on its side. Every season lasts about 21 Earth years. It's distant, frigid, and weird, but it's trying. 35. The sun's gravity keeps the planets in orbit, but Earth's gravity keeps the moon in orbit. And the moon's gravity tugs on our oceans, creating tides. So next time you see waves at the beach, remember that's space just flexing a little. 36. If you could fold a piece of paper 42 times, it would reach the moon. That's because folding doubles its thickness each time, but realistically you can't fold a paper that much. The laws of physics aren't the problem, your desk is. 37. Stars don't twinkle. Their light only appears to shimmer because Earth's atmosphere bends it on the way down. From space, stars shine steady and still. But down here, they wobble a little, just like us. 38. There's a giant storm on Jupiter called the Great Red Spot. It's larger than Earth and has been swirling for at least 350 years. No one knows when it started. No one knows when it will stop. It just keeps going, which is inspiring and slightly exhausting. 39. The speed of light is a constant, but the universe may have once expanded faster than light itself. That's not illegal, because it wasn't light that moved, it was space. Turns out space doesn't play by the rules, it writes them. 40. There are rogue planets, worlds that drift through the galaxy without orbiting any star. No sunrise, no warmth, just endless night. They exist, and we have no idea how many. But if loneliness had a GPS location, it might be one of them. 41. The Milky Way is a barred spiral galaxy. That means it's not just a swirl of stars. It has a straight bar of stars cutting through the center. Billions of stars in formation, moving slowly, orbiting something they can't see. It's like a cosmic traffic circle, but with no exits. 42. Space is not completely silent. It's just too quiet for human ears. If you had the right instruments, you could hear plasma waves, solar flares, even black holes colliding. But it wouldn't sound like music, it would sound like time, humming. 43. Earth rotates at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. You don't feel it because everything else is rotating with you, which is fortunate because if it stopped suddenly, you'd keep moving. And not in a relaxing way. 44. Astronauts age a little slower in orbit. Thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity, time ticks slightly differently in low gravity. They come back to Earth a fraction of a second younger than they would have been. Not enough to brag about, but still free anti-aging. 45. Earth's magnetic field protects us from solar radiation. Without it, we'd be slowly fried by the sun's constant particle stream. This invisible shield is generated by molten iron in the core. So yes, your safety depends on liquid metal spinning non-stop beneath your feet. 46. The average distance between stars in our galaxy is about 5 light years. That's over 47 trillion kilometers. So even if we aimed a spaceship at the closest one at the speed of our fastest rocket, there'd We'd get there in about 80,000 years. Bring snacks. 47. The universe is cooling down. It started off hot, unimaginably so, but has been losing heat ever since the Big Bang. Now it's just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. That's colder than deep space sounds. And it's still dropping. 48. Some exoplanets orbit so close to their stars a year lasts only a few Earth days. They're called hot Jupiters. Big, gassy and blazing hot. Imagine summer forever. 49. Sir, most of the atoms in your body were forged in the heart of stars, carbon, oxygen, iron, created by fusion, then scattered by supernova explosions. You are made of stardust, but you don't have to bring that up at parties. 50. The Hubble Space Telescope can see galaxies billions of light years away. It doesn't show the universe as it is. It shows how it used to be. Looking out is also looking back, which is kind of beautiful, and kind of the point. 51. The James Webb Space Telescope can see further back in time than any telescope before it, not because it bends time, but because light takes time to travel. It's looking at galaxies as they were billions of years ago, which makes it less of a telescope. And I'm more of a very expensive memory. 52. The sun will eventually run out of fuel. In about 5 billion years, it will swell into a red giant, engulf Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth. Then it will collapse into a white dwarf and spend eternity slowly cooling off, which is a dramatic way to retire. 53. There's a cold spot in the universe, literally. It's a region of space that's colder than expected, possibly due to a massive void or something stranger. Scientists call it the cold spot because sometimes science names things on a Monday. 54. The fastest thing in the universe is light. The second fastest, neutrinos, tiny, nearly massless particles that pass through matter effortlessly. Billions go through your body every second. Thankfully, none of them want anything from you. 55. Some planets orbit 2 stars at once. They're called circumbinary planets, which means somewhere out there a sunset might happen twice in a row, like Tatooine, but without the dramatic music. 56. A supernova is a stellar explosion so bright it can outshine an entire galaxy. It releases more energy in a few seconds than our sun will in its entire lifetime. Then it fades and leaves behind a black hole, neutron star, or just space that remembers something used to be there. 57. If you point a radio telescope at an empty patch of sky, you'll still hear static. Some of that static is leftover radiation from the Big Bang. The sound of the universe cooling down, still echoing very, very faintly. 58. There are more molecules in a single glass of water than there are glasses of water in all the oceans on Earth. That has nothing to do with space, but the math checks out, and it's uncomfortable. 59. Quasars are the brightest objects in the universe. They're powered by black holes devouring matter. As material falls in, it heats up, releasing immense radiation, so bright you can see them from billions of light years away. Just don't get close, they're not friendly. 60. The universe has no up or down, no compass, no preferred direction. Galaxies spin in every orientation, which means everything you know is technically sideways. 61. There's a type of star called a white dwarf that's essentially a retired sun. It no longer burns fuel, it just glows with leftover heat. Eventually it will cool into a black dwarf, cold, dark, and invisible, which is the cosmic version of Do Not Disturb. 62. If two neutron stars collide, they create gravitational waves, ripples in space-time itself. We didn't even detect one until 2017. It caused a barely noticeable distortion in a laser beam, which in science is considered a very loud scream. 63. There's a galaxy called NGC 1277 that barely makes new stars. Almost all of its stars are over 10 billion years old. Astronomers call it red and dead. It's a retirement home floating in deep space. No drama, no excitement, just peace and cosmic dust. 64. Astronauts can't cry properly in space. Tears don't fall. They just form little floating blobs around your eyes, which means even emotions need gravity to behave. 65. The moon has moonquakes. They're caused by tidal forces, cooling of the core, and meteor impacts. They can last up to an hour, because when the moon trembles, it takes its time. 66. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. About 3 trillion trees, roughly 100 and 400 billion stars. So yes, the forest wins, at least until it burns. 67. The closest black hole to Earth is about 1,600 light-years away, which is far enough, but still close enough that you can tell people it's in the neighborhood if you want to end a conversation quickly. 68. Every second, the sun fuses 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium. It loses about 4 million tons of mass every second, which means the sun is constantly disappearing just a little bit while smiling at you. 69. There's a theory that somewhere another version of you made a slightly different choice and now lives in a parallel universe. If that's true, hopefully they're asleep. 70. If you shrank the solar system to the size of a coin, the nearest star would still be 4 kilometers away, which means space isn't just big, it's mostly empty, impressive, but not exactly social. 71. Uranus was the first planet discovered with a telescope. Before that, the others were visible to the naked eye. It was originally almost named George. Thankfully, we dodged that, but barely. 72. There's a type of galaxy called an irregular galaxy. No spiral, no shape, no pattern, just a mess. Sometimes that's due to collisions, sometimes just bad galactic posture. Not everything in space is photogenic. 73. The International Space Station travels around Earth at 28,000 kilometers per hour. That's fast enough to circle the planet roughly every 90 minutes. Astronauts on board see 16 sunrises and sunsets a day, which sounds beautiful and deeply exhausting. 74. You can fit over 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. Not that you should. But in case you were wondering how small your biggest problems are, now you know. 75. The night sky, you see, isn't the universe now, it's the universe then. Every point of light is a delay, a few years old, a few thousand, or a few billion. Space doesn't offer live updates. 76. Astronomers use something called the magnitude scale to measure brightness. It's backwards. The lower the number, the brighter the object. It's confusing, outdated, and still widely used, just like most software. 77. The largest known star is UY Scuti. It's over 1,700 times wider than the Sun. If placed at the center of our solar system, it would engulf the orbit of Jupiter. That's not a sun. That's a slow-burning threat. 78. There's a theory that the universe may one day collapse in on itself. It's called the Big Crunch, an eventual reversal of expansion, all of space folding back to where it started. But don't worry, we've got time. 79. Jupiter emits more heat than it receives from the sun. It's still cooling from when it formed, so yes, it glows a little. Not enough to read by, but enough to know it's still not over it. 80. The Earth's rotation is gradually slowing down. Tidal friction caused by the moon is stealing our spin just a little every year. Right? In about 140 million years, a day will be 25 hours long, which honestly sounds pretty good. 81. The Kuiper Belt is a region beyond Neptune, filled with icy objects, dwarf planets, and leftovers. It's where Pluto lives now. It's quiet, cold, and basically the solar system's attic. 82. Astronauts in space grow taller. Without gravity compressing their spine, they can gain up to 5 centimeters. Unfortunately, it goes away when they return to Earth, just like vacation optimism. 83. There are stars so dense, 1 teaspoon of their material would weigh billions of tons. We call them neutron stars. But you could also call them cosmic pressure with bad intentions. 84. The galaxy we live in is moving. The Milky Way is traveling at about 2.1 million kilometers per hour through the universe. And yet everything still feels late. 85. The vacuum of space isn't completely empty. It has quantum fluctuations, virtual particles, and leftover photons from the Big Bang. So even in silence, there's still something, just not something helpful. 86. Most galaxies have a supermassive black hole at their center. No one knows exactly how they formed, but every spiral, cluster, and dust trail seems to orbit a quiet, invisible mouth, just sitting there, doing the math. 87. There's a planet called WASP-12b that orbits its star so closely it completes a year in about 24 hours. It's also being slowly pulled apart by gravity, which is one way to describe a bad relationship. 88. Earth's core is as hot as the surface of the sun, around 5,500 degrees Celsius. We're walking around on a thin crust of solid rock, floating on molten iron and calling it stable. 89. There are entire galaxies we'll never see. They're too far away, moving too fast, and their light will never reach us. They exist, but for us they might as well not. 90. Scientists estimate the universe contains about 2 trillion galaxies. That's more than anyone will ever count. So, if you feel small, you're correct. If you feel forgotten, you're also correct. 91. In deep space, your body wouldn't explode, it would just lose heat. You'd pass out in about 15 seconds, then quietly freeze. Hollywood got it wrong, but the ending's still the same. 92. If you fall into a black hole, from your point of view, time feels normal. But from the outside, you slow down forever. Frozen on the edge, stretching into silence. It's called spaghettification, because physics has a sense of humor. 93. Our solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way once every 230 million years. We've made that trip about 20 times since Earth formed. No one noticed. 94. Galaxies collide often. They pass through each other because of all the empty space between stars. It's not explosive, it's slow, almost graceful. Destruction, but polite. 95. Astronomers once found a galaxy made almost entirely of dark matter. They couldn't see it directly, but they knew it was there. Because even when nothing shows up, gravity doesn't lie. 96. You can still see the Andromeda Galaxy with the naked eye on a clear night. It looks like a smudge, small, faint, and slowly headed straight for us, but not for a while. 97. No matter where you are in the universe, it looks like you're in the center. That's not ego. That's how space works. Everyone's equally unimportant. 98. The future of the universe might be cold, no more stars, no more heat, just darkness quietly stretching forever in every direction. 99. If intelligent life exists somewhere else. We haven't heard from it. No signals, no visits. Just the sound of everything keeping to itself. 100. The universe didn't begin for you, and it won't end with you. It just is, unfolding, expanding, then fading, with or without witnesses. Well, you've made it this far. Still not asleep? That's okay. The universe is patient. So if you're still here, still listening, still blinking slowly at the ceiling, we've got more. A few extra facts, just in case the first 100 weren't quite boring enough. Let's keep going, quietly, naturally, and with very low expectations. 101. There's a planet called 55 Cancri A that's likely covered in graphite and diamond. It's twice the size of Earth and much, much hotter. A glittering nightmare. Proof that even luxury can be unbearable. 102. Space smells. Astronauts returning from spacewalks have described the scent as metallic, like burnt steak or welding fumes. Turns out even nothing has a bit of attitude. 103. If Earth were the size of a grain of sand, the Sun would be a ping-pong ball, and the nearest star after that, another ping-pong ball over 4 kilometers away. Space is less a room and more a wilderness. 104. Comets are icy leftovers from the early solar system. When they get close to the sun, their ice vaporizes, creating long, glowing tails. They're ancient, dramatic, and deeply inconsistent, just like most origin stories. 105. The largest volcano in the solar system isn't on Earth. It's Olympus Mons on Mars. It's so big you wouldn't notice you were climbing it until you'd been walking uphill for 2 days. It's there, just gradually. 106. In the vacuum of space, there's no medium for sound to travel through. So even if something explodes, no one hears it, which makes space the best place to hold in a scream. 107. The farthest galaxy ever observed is over 13.4 billion light-years away. We're seeing it as it was just 400 million years after the Big Bang. It's faint, blurred, and quietly shouting across time. 108. Some exoplanets are tidally locked to their stars. One side burns in constant daylight, the other freezes in endless night. There's a narrow zone in between where temperatures might be just right. It's called the terminator. Very dramatic for a line of weather. 109. Most stars you see in the night sky are already dead. Their light is still on the way to us. You're not looking at stars, you're looking at time-delayed ghosts pretending they're still there. 110. The center of our galaxy smells like rum and tastes like raspberries, sort of. A molecule called ethyl format was found in a gas cloud near the galactic core. Space, weird, hostile, and apparently dessert-themed. 111. The most distant object visited by a spacecraft is Arrokoth. It's a tiny Kuiper Belt object about 6.6 billion kilometers from Earth. New Horizons flew past it in 2019. It looks like 2 snowballs stuck together. Impressive journey, mediocre aesthetics. 112. There are stars called blue giants. They burn hotter, live faster, and die young. They shine bright, fade quickly, and leave behind messes no one else wants to clean up. Classic. 113. Most of what we know about the universe comes from looking at light. Visible, infrared, X-ray, microwave. If it doesn't glow, we usually don't know it's there. So yes, science is based on watching things shine and taking notes. 114. Gravity travels at the speed of light. It's not instant. If the sun disappeared, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes. And then everything would feel very quiet and slightly wrong. 115. There's a hypothesis that our universe could be one of many, a multiverse. Each universe with its own laws, own constants, own everything. We haven't found proof, but it's comforting to think somewhere out there you're already asleep. 116th. Moons can have moons. They're called moons. It's a real term used by real astronomers because even in astrophysics, someone eventually gives up on dignity. 117. Most of the helium in the universe was created in the first few minutes after the Big Bang. That means every birthday balloon is technically full of ancient gas from the beginning of time. Try not to think about that at parties. 118. The known universe has a finite age, but no known boundary. It's expanding, but we don't know into what, which is space's way of saying, don't worry about it. 119. Astronauts report something strange after returning from space, an overwhelming sense of connection. It's called the overview effect. Seeing Earth from a distance makes everything else feel small, brief, and maybe not worth yelling about. 120. You are made of atoms that were once inside stars. That's not a metaphor, that's basic physics. You're not just in the universe, you're part of the leftovers. 121. See, there's a galaxy so dense it fits the mass of a normal galaxy into a space only a few hundred light years across. It's called M60 UCD1, small, heavy, cosmic overachiever. 122. In 1977, a radio signal known as the WOW signal was picked up from deep space. It lasted 72 seconds. It never came back. We still don't know what it was. That's the whole story. Then 123. Some planets rain metal. On WASP-76b, it's so hot that iron evaporates on one side and condenses on the other. Imagine a place where the forecast is even more molten than yesterday. 124. The universe's shape is still up for debate. It might be flat, it might curve, it might loop around on itself. The only certainty, you won't notice either way. 125. The universe once glowed. For the first few 100,000 years after the Big Bang, everything was too hot for light to move freely. Then it cooled. Light broke free. We call that recombination. They could have picked a better word. 126. Some stars rotate so fast they flatten into oblate shapes, wider at the middle than at the poles. Spinning so fast they can't even hold a decent circle. Relatable. 127. There's an asteroid between Mars and Jupiter with its own moon. A rock with another rock, just quietly orbiting each other in the middle of nowhere. 128. The average human heart beats about 3 billion times in a lifetime. The average star pulses a few dozen times whenever, and still they outlive us. 129. If you compress Earth to the size of a marble without changing its mass, it would become a black hole. Because gravity is less about size and more about how much stuff you've packed into a conversation. 130. Our solar system is currently passing through a region of space called the Local Interstellar Cloud. It's a very faint cloud of gas and dust. We've been in it for tens of thousands of years. No one noticed. 131. There's a real equation that tries to estimate how many alien civilizations exist in our galaxy. It's called the Drake equation. So far, the result is quiet. 132. The largest black holes are called ultramassive black holes. One of them, Ton 618, weighs over 60 billion suns. No one's sure how it got that big, but the name Ton feels surprisingly accurate. 133. The night sky is full of colors you can't see. Infrared, ultraviolet, gamma. To human eyes, space is mostly black and white. To cameras, it's chaos. 134. We've mapped only about 5% of the ocean, but we've mapped over 90% of the moon's surface, because sometimes it's easier to study what's far away than what's under your feet. 135. The closest known star system, Alpha Centauri, is about 4.37 light-years away. That's over 40 trillion kilometers, just close enough to keep our hopes up, just far enough to never visit. 136. There are over 200 moons in our solar system. Most are quiet, cold, forgotten. They orbit in silence while the big planets get all the attention. 137 now. Jupiter's moon Io is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. Its surface is constantly erupting, bright, violent, and definitely not on your travel list. 138. The rings of Saturn are temporary. They're slowly falling in, bit by bit, raining particles onto the planet. In a few 100 million years, they'll be gone. Space is full of things pretending to last forever. 139. The Sun makes up 99.8% of the solar system's mass, but it contains none of the solar system's water. All of it on Earth, on moons, in comets, came from somewhere colder, somewhere darker, somewhere far. 140. In the end, even black holes evaporate. Very slowly they lose energy through something called Hawking radiation. Given enough time, they fade too. Even nothingness has an expiration date. 141. Gravitational lensing is when the light from distant objects is bent by the gravity of something in between. It lets us see galaxies that would otherwise be hidden. Gravity bending light like a magnifying glass, with no glass involved. 142. The sun doesn't burn like fire. It fuses hydrogen into helium through nuclear fusion. There's no flame, just pressure and heat crushing atoms together until they let go of energy. 143. Quarks are the building blocks of protons and neutrons. They come in 6 types: up, down, charm, strange, top and bottom. These are real names, chosen by physicists who ran out of serious words around 1972. 144. Each second, Earth is hit by about 100 tons of space dust. Most of it burns up in the atmosphere. Some of it lands quietly, microscopic grains from comets, asteroids and somewhere else. 145. And dark matter doesn't emit light, reflect light or absorb it. We only know it's there because of the way it tugs on things. Roughly 85% of all matter in the universe doesn't want to be seen. 146. When astronauts return from space, they sometimes have trouble walking. Even a short time in zero gravity makes muscles weaker, balance harder, and motion feel unfamiliar. Gravity doesn't wait to be missed. 147. The moon is not perfectly round. It's slightly squished, with bulges caused by tidal forces and internal irregularities. It looks smooth from here, but up close it's more complicated. 148. Jupiter's great red spot is slowly shrinking. We've been watching it get smaller for decades. It's still enormous, larger than Earth, but one day it may disappear. Even storms have end dates. 149. The speed of sound in space is effectively zero, because sound requires a medium to travel through: air, water, solid matter, and space for the most part offers none of that. 150. The Voyager 1 spacecraft has been traveling through space since 1977. It's now over 23 billion kilometers from Earth. It carries a golden record containing sounds and images from our planet. No one's answered yet. 151. A light year is not a measurement of time, it's distance. One light year equals about 9.46 trillion kilometers. How far light travels in a year, or how long a message takes when you're in the wrong part of space? 152. Some galaxies rotate faster than they should. Based on their visible mass, they should fall apart, but they don't because something invisible holds them together. We call it dark matter because naming something is easier than understanding it. 153. If you stare at a patch of sky with no visible stars, a powerful enough telescope will still find thousands of galaxies. There's no empty, just unseen. 154. Time and space are part of the same structure. Space-time, it bends, it stretches, it warps near mass, and it means that motion, position, and existence are never completely separate things. 155. A pulsar is a type of neutron star that spins rapidly and emits beams of radiation. It acts like a cosmic lighthouse, flashing in perfect rhythm. Some spin hundreds of times per second, extremely fast, extremely dense, extremely punctual. 156. The moon is responsible for Earth's tides. Its gravity pulls on the oceans, causing the water to rise and fall. Without the moon, our tides would be weaker and coastal life would be very different. 157. The International Space Station has been continuously inhabited since 2000. It orbits Earth roughly every 90 minutes, which means the astronauts on board see a sunrise or sunset 16 times a day. 158. Planetary rings aren't unique to Saturn. Jupiter, Uranus and Neptune have them too, though they're smaller, fainter and much less photogenic. 159. Earth's atmosphere extends far beyond what we see. The exosphere, its outermost layer, reaches over 10,000 kilometers into space. Technically, we've never really stopped touching air. It just gets thinner and less helpful. 160. At some point in the distant future, even the stars will die. The universe will go dark. Only black holes will remain, slowly evaporating over trillions of years, and eventually nothing will be left but silence. 161. The universe has a temperature. Right now, the average is about 2.7 Kelvin, just above absolute zero. It's called the cosmic microwave background, and it's the echo of a much warmer time, a very long time ago. 162. Black holes don't suck things in like a vacuum. If you replaced the sun with a black hole of equal mass, Earth would still orbit as usual. It's not the black hole's fault, it's the space around it that gives up. 163. Earth's axis wobbles very slowly. It's called precession. A full wobble takes about 26,000 years. If you had a calendar that long, you wouldn't be surprised by anything. 164. The coldest known place in the universe is the Boomerang Nebula. It's about 1 degree Kelvin, colder than the background of space itself. It's shaped like a bow tie, and it's doing its best. 165. Astronauts can't burp in space. Without gravity, the gas in their stomach doesn't separate from the liquid. So any attempt to burp is more of a full-body negotiation. 166. If two black holes merge, they emit gravitational waves, ripples in the structure of space-time. We've detected these with giant lasers on Earth. It's like listening for whispers with a building-sized tuning fork. 167. There are galaxies that are entirely made of stars and have almost no dark matter. That's weird, and we don't know why, which is just how the universe prefers it. 168. Mars has seasons just like Earth, but they last about twice as long. More time to enjoy the dust, and less reason to pack a swimsuit. 169. Gamma ray bursts are the most energetic explosions in the universe. They release more energy in seconds than our sun will in its entire lifetime. If one happened nearby, we wouldn't have time to worry about it. 170. Mercury has almost no atmosphere. Its surface temperatures swing wildly from 170 degrees Celsius at night to 430 degrees Celsius during the day. It's hot, cold, and very unfriendly. 171. Some parts of the Milky Way are moving faster than others. It's not a perfect spin. It's more like a wobbling spiral with no real intention of fixing itself. At 172. Saturn is less dense than water. Theoretically, if you could find a bathtub big enough, it would float, majestic, buoyant, completely ridiculous. 173. The universe has no center. Every point is expanding away from every other point, which means everyone's technically the middle, which means no one is. 174. Some black holes spin, and if they spin fast enough, they can twist space-time around them, which is as cool as it is completely useless to you right now. 175. A white dwarf star is incredibly dense. It's about the size of Earth, but has the mass of the Sun. It's what a star becomes when it retires with dignity. 176. Space tourism exists, technically. A handful of billionaires have gone up. No one has stayed long, and the snacks are probably not worth the ticket. 177. There's a star system where it rains molten glass, sideways at 7,000 kilometers per hour. HD 189733b. Beautiful, lethal, extremely off-brand for a vacation. 178. Earth isn't a perfect sphere. It bulges slightly at the equator. Thanks to rotation, you weigh slightly less in Ecuador than at the poles. Not much, but it counts. 179. Stars don't live forever. Small ones fade. Big ones explode. In the end, they all stop shining. Even the universe needs rest. 180. Every second, the observable universe expands by about 70 kilometers in every direction, not because things are moving, but because space itself is making more space. Still awake? That's okay. Here are a few more, because space doesn't run out of facts. And apparently neither do we. 181. The Sun orbits the center of the Milky Way once every 230 million years. That means Earth has only made about 20 full orbits since it formed, and not once did we stop to check the map. 182. Some scientists believe space-time might be granular, not smooth, but made of tiny units, like pixels, which means even reality might have a resolution limit. 183. The largest known star, UY Scuti, is so wide, if placed where the Sun is, its surface would reach beyond the orbit of Saturn, and you still couldn't see it from here. 184. The Moon has no atmosphere, so temperatures shift drastically from scorching hot in the sun to freezing cold in the shade. No weather, just exposure. 185. Triton, Neptune's largest moon, orbits in the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation. It's likely a captured object dragged in long ago, uninvited but still spinning. 186. Saturn's moon Enceladus has geysers that shoot water into space. These plumes escape through cracks in the icy surface, hinting at a subsurface ocean. It's cold, quiet, and possibly full of secrets. 187. A magnetar is a type of neutron star with a magnetic field a quadrillion times stronger than Earth's. If one passed close by, it could erase your credit card from thousands of kilometers away. 188. The Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud are regions full of icy objects at the edge of the solar system. They mark the fuzzy boundary between our neighborhood and the void. 189. Some stars explode in supernovas so violently they briefly outshine their entire galaxy, then they vanish. That much light gone in a blink. 190. So, cosmic inflation was a period of rapid expansion right after the Big Bang. In less than a trillionth of a second, the universe grew exponentially, fast enough that no one even noticed. 191. There's a black hole in the galaxy M87 that's 6.5 billion times more massive than the Sun. We took a picture of it in 2019. It looks like a blurry donut because the universe isn't here to impress you. 192. Light has no mass, but it still carries momentum. That means in theory you could sail on sunlight. Solar sails exist and they work slowly. 193. In 2004, scientists discovered a planet made largely of carbon. With enough pressure, that means diamond. An entire world harder than most people's personality. 194. The Earth's magnetic field flips polarity every few 100,000 years. North becomes south. Compass makers get very confused. 195. Cosmic rays can strike computer memory and cause glitches, flipping bits without warning. Your software has survived interstellar interference. 196. Most of the hydrogen in your body has been around since the dawn of the universe, over 13 billion years old, which means even on your worst days, you're technically timeless. 197. There's a giant gas cloud heading toward the Milky Way. It's called the Smith Cloud. It should collide with us in about 30 million years. No rush, it's not early. 198. Some particles pop in and out of existence in the quantum vacuum. They're called virtual particles. They appear, interact and vanish, just like most thoughts before sleep. There's about 199. Entropy always increases. That's the second law of thermodynamics. In short, everything tends toward disorder, even bedtime routines. 200. The universe doesn't owe you clarity. It expands, evolves, and drifts. It isn't waiting. It isn't watching. It just is. And now you are too. And that's it, 200 facts. If you're still here, you either really love space or sleep is taking its time tonight. Either way, thanks for drifting with us. If this helped you rest, leave a like. Maybe subscribe and tell us in the comments what time it is where you are and when the silence finally caught up to you. Until next time, sleep well. The universe isn't going anywhere, and neither are we.